Ready or not, here I come now. Let's play hide and seek. Prepare to be caught. Here I come now. Let's play hide and seek. Riding on the playground, no one dares to make a sound. Round and round and round and round, no one wants to be first found.
Hey, how's it going? I've seen a lot of aggression right now on the Idaho4. And I don't know if it's between creators. I'm not sure. I try to stay out of that. But I have not changed my mind about BK. I don't think he did this. I don't think Brent did this. I think they were set up. So I just thought I'd show you a little bit of how my brain works. And this is literally just randomly picked this downloads album. This is what's in my album. Why some of it's there, I have no idea. Other stuff, I know exactly why it's there, and I will definitely tell you why. I am not out to hurt anyone, to call anybody liars, to or dishonor their truth and what they believe. Because everybody has their mind, they can make up their own minds, right? I've made up mine, and sometimes my mind changes. Right now, what my mind is doing is putting together pictures that I've found in my albums. And the reason I've found them is because I have tons of them in here. I mean, this is just a little teeny bit of that I'm going to show you right here. And I might show you the other ones. This one's just a little more of a, and it's a little less on the crazy side than most of them. But this is just what one album has in it. And it's a downloads album. And I'm finding these because in CapCut, when I'm making a video, I go in to find a certain picture that I want to add overlay or whatever into the video. And sometimes I'll search for hours, you guys. And I do not give up. I'm searching for hours. And finally I'm like, okay, I got to get off the freaking CapCut and go fucking find it. Make my own another one. Get another one. Find another one somewhere. Even though I know I have it. But it took me hours to even realize, get out of CapCut and go find it. Because once, what happens when you're looking in CapCut and you're into the albums, you can stay in there forever and look for pictures. But once you go out of it, you got to start the video all over again. I mean, it's there saved for you, but you got to start it all over again. And sometimes it's like, why I just don't do that, I don't know. Because it's annoying to me, I guess. But what I've been doing is finding these pictures that are reminding me of what the fuck, where these cars were, this person was here, that person was here, this one's connecting to this one, this one's connected to that one. Why are they all connecting now? Because these pictures were way back when. These were back when this first started. Some of these are a year and a half old. Yet now they're connecting. Yeah, scary. So this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because I'm following what is already there. I'm not trying to make anything up. I'm just connecting what I've already seen and I've already saved for a reason. I've saved these in my albums for a goddamn reason. Maybe I don't remember what that reason was for at the time. Maybe I didn't even know. Maybe it was just a sixth sense. Yeah, maybe it's a sixth sense too. 6, whatever. But it's there for a reason. And now, as I'm going through these, and they're coming up, I know why they're there. In my mind, I know why they're there. And they're so easy to connect because they just lay it right on out. Now, my other thing is, how the hell, when I was searching for these addresses, for these cars, for whatever I was searching for, why were they showing up on the Google Maps and as being where they were when they were there? That also kind of freaks me out a little bit, because that makes me think that it was on purpose. Because you just don't go on Google Maps and all of a sudden find what you're looking for months prior that you have saved in your albums, and it's showing it right there. That's a little freaky. That's a little calculated, don't you think? Not on my end, but whatever this is calculated. Period. That's my story that I've worked out in my head through this whole thing. That this is calculated. No one just walked in there one day, one night, just thought, I'm going to go take out 4 lives. This is not what happened, in my opinion. And I'm entitled to my opinion. And I have worked hard on this case, like no other case. And when I'm in there making my video, and I'm going through trying to find these pictures, and one of these pictures pops up, and a ding-dong, boom, goes off in my head, I am like, holy shit. My body rushes. My eyes tear up like they are now. And I'm like, wow, how could this even happen? How could, how could this have happened? Because it's not just one person. It's not 2. It's not 3. It's not 4. It's not 5. This is a town that knows what's going on. And my saved premonitions, whatever the fuck you want to call them, are telling me that I'm correct in that theory. And when part of me wants to say, yes, I'm putting it all together, the other part of me says, this is so sick. And, and I just wonder how this can happen, who these people are, how a little town can get away with this. And no big guns, no government, no freaking massive army that's got good hearts, not ones that take people down just for the hell of it. Good hearts that are there to help. Why? Where are they? Where are they? Do they exist anymore? Or has this just become this world where 4 beautiful people, and they're not the only ones, but they're the ones we're talking about right now, can be disposed of, because that's what happened. They were disposable to these people. And that is something that I can't wrap my head around. I just can't. Oh, God. Oh, I have a headache now. But, I mean, I just want people to know that when I'm making these videos, and I'm randomly, like my last ones I made, they're just so here, there, everywhere. That's because this is how I'm connecting in my head. This is my way of doing it. And that's okay, because this is my channel. But know that I'm still working this out in my head. I have got a ton of albums in this, look at this, tons of them. And I am not each. I mean, some of them have, we've got, 11. We got here. This was 11,000 pictures in here. I mean, we've got. Some of them don't even have the pictures because there's probably so many in there. I don't know. Some of them have 2. Some of them merge. Some of them have even more than that. Let me see that. Just get down here. Hold on. Some of them you can't even tell because it's too much on there. This one's got 41,000 in it, right? That's what I'm talking about, you guys. This is what I go through to make a video. Because I can't stop doing this until there is justice for them. That's why. Because out of everything, they deserve justice. They deserve to have their story told the way it happened, even if it's not. It might not look good on them. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. I don't think that's the case. I think they were caught up in something so quickly that it just spun around them, and they're like in the middle of a freaking tornado. Because they said maybe yes one time or did. I don't know. But I don't think any of them were bad. I don't think any of them set out to hurt anybody. I don't think they set out to do anything like that. I think they were in a situation that was going nowhere fast. Real fast. And they had no control over it. They tried to get out, but they weren't allowing that. That tornado wasn't allowing it. And that is exactly what I think. Now, I'm just trying to piece it together. And I just hope that you please be gentle with me, because this takes a toll on me too. This isn't something that is the easiest thing for me to do, and this is what I do. This is my life, and this is going to continue to be my life until it's figured out, and there is justice served for everyone, whether it be justice for the kids or justice to get them in where they were supposed to be, behind bars, not the kids who did this. Because there's a lot of setup in this. There's a lot of stuff that was like, wow. Like, how did this, there's so much in this, you guys, that it's like the setup parts of it that have been brought into this case, like no other. Like, I've never seen anything like this, ever. Ever. Thank you all for being there for me. If it wasn't for you guys, I couldn't do this. Just know that. Please know that. And if I don't answer emails, if I don't get to comments, please know it's because I am so freaking swamped and buried in this stuff. I mean, I've got over 2,000 emails I haven't even answered, and I try to answer them, 20 something a day. If sometimes I don't get to that. Sometimes I don't get to them at all for a week because I'm too busy something's in my head and I got to get it out. And I got to find it. And that's when I sit down and I dig my feet in and I find it. Eventually, I find it. It might be like in one of these albums like a year and a half ago, but it's there somewhere. But yeah, try to dig through in one album, 41,000 photos. Ugh, it is tough. And this isn't my own. I have another phone I do this on too. And that was just as full as this one. So please, 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 please have patience with me. I appreciate all of you. I do. And there's definitely that group out there that really helps me a lot. You all help me, but there's ones that go a little bit above and beyond a little, I can't thank you guys more for that. I mean, just enough. I can't thank you enough for that. It is amazing. You're amazing women and men. I think it's all women. I don't know if hold on, I gotta hook this thing. Sorry, I'm making a bunch of noise right now, but it's just the way it is. I think they're all women, but some usernames it's hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure that's all women, and I love you guys. Thank you so much. You bring that part of me that has always known that there's such good people out there and that there always will be. You bring that in my heart back into me every time. And not that you have to do anything to monetary or whatever. I'm not talking just that. I'm talking just your support, your undying support. It's just amazing. Thank you. Okay, I gotta go blow my nose. I'll be right back to make the rest of the video. I'm gonna walk you through this album. I love you guys. Thank you. Alright, here we go. Going through the albums. Some of it's going to be silly to you guys. Some of it you're not going to understand. Some of it I don't understand. Here we go. So, the reason these are here is because I was making thumbnails and I wanted some interesting cop law enforcement photos. So I just grabbed these. And this one I can just put a face over, lie a face in it if I want. So like Rosendahl or Tisdale or Fry, whoever. And this one just, wow. Trust, bravery, integrity. Protect and to serve. I'm here to help you. When it looks more like this. Well, except for the side of it that looks like they're actually doing role play on this one. It just kind of makes me laugh. And this one reminds me of Tisdale. Oh my God, Tisdale and Rosendahl. I swear, this is just the epitome of what they look like to me. And this one, well, we all know who this is, right? Do I have to tell you? I'm gonna let you guys answer in the comments who you think this one is. This one reminds me of the cops and an informant getting there before anybody else does and talking to them under the undercover, like quietly. Kind of like what Rosendahl did when he ran up to the freaking back door to talk to Hunter Johnson. There's a moment there where those two were talking very, very closely. And it looked like they were handing something. It looked like one of them was handing something to the other. And then the one Hunter was pointing over towards the frat house. Like, you have to slow it way down to catch these things, but they're there. And I'm not putting any of this stuff. I'm not faking it. I'm not adding stuff to it. I don't have time to do that for one. I'm not going to do that for one, but I don't have time to do that. I just don't. Yeah, this one. Clones. This one made me laugh. This reminds me of Fry and just Thompson. I mean, it just reminds me of what it seems like over there. Like they're a bunch of doofy clay figures that are just molding things the way they want them to turn out and not giving a rat's ass about anybody's lives but their own. And this one just reminds me also of somebody else. I'll let you guys put that in the comments. This one just is like sheer takedown. Okay, just, you know, just something to put in like a thumbnail. This one, obviously, is how I feel Moscow is. This is what they look like to me. They're just eating people alive, leaving pieces of their bodies floating in the water behind them as they leave, not caring, just not to even look back. These are these cool prints. I mean, you know, I just gathered these because I put them in thumbnails, and I overlay them behind pictures, which I really love these colors. I love this. I use this one a lot. I love this one. I love that photo. That one I don't use very much. I'm gonna dump it. This one I like too. Love them. This one I'm gonna dump this one too. I just actually altered that one. This one is of the dumpster on Linda Lane, and what is seen in it if you flip the picture different ways. Same with here. This one is an important photo. Really super important. This is BK's car when he was pulled over in Pullman by that one lady that he pulled out and he didn't. He was in the middle of the intersection when he was making a turn, and she pulled him over for that. That happens all the time here. Shit. I mean, it happens all the time. I mean, it's just unless he was doing it on purpose, she should never have. I mean, that was just stupid. But anyway, she points out this big old piece, the scratch that's in his above his door. Well, this person, she and I both went in to look at the white Elantra that was wrecked and stuff, and this wasn't there. This scratch is important because this could identify the car. I still think that white Elantra in Oregon is key. And you guys, I don't know why no one's ever touched base on this, but there was one also at almost right around the same exact time that was wrecked in Fruitland. And it was left kind of in a warehousey district. It was left underneath this sign, big billboard sign. That was a female lawyer that was on the sign, showing on the sign. And anyway, it was there, wrecked almost in the same exact fashion that the other one was. Pretty wild. So there were not just 1, 2, or 3 cars that looked alike. They used several cars. You know, just basically for thumbnails. Pete, Rosanna, and Ethan. They're so cute. Look at that little hippie looking at them. They're so cute. So if I'm in here, I'm going to alter this one right now, because when I use these on my CapCut, I have to like cut them down, and it takes time. So I'm just going to do it while I'm here. Cut it down so that that part's left off of there, and I don't have to worry about that, you know, when I come to it in the, so let's see, move this little bar and save. So now I've got that one saved, and I don't have to worry about cutting it down. And I can also move it to another album, which I'm going to do right now. Move to album, which is going to be my Xana and Ethan album, which is right here. Okay. So next one is this. Now, I recently just got this one, found it. And then what stands out to me the most in here is Hunter's smile. He looks like he's impersonating Ethan. And he's straining to do it. Look at his neck muscles. That smile on his face looks so fake to me. This photo really bothers me. I'm sure no matter what, these kids have been through hell. No matter what it entails. because there's no way it can't be hell over there. But this one just really bugged me. So I'm going to move this one over to the Ethan and Xana too. Okay, so this might be from True Killer Crime. I don't recall what it is, but I saved it for a reason. And so I'm going to have, maybe she'll see this and she'll be able to tell me what it is. Maybe it's from somebody else. I'm pretty sure it's from her. It might be from Tommy. I'm not sure. But there's something there there's a reason why I saved this for some reason. This one, Among the Bros. If you guys have not read this story, I suggest you read this story because it is literally, it is what makes me feel like happened there what's happening, still happening at all the universities, not just the one in Idaho, not the one in Pullman, all over the country. This is a true story, and it is frightening. That this happened on this campus, and there's a death in it for sure. There's also informants. The cops are using informants, a lot of them too, and they're requiring these kids in order to get out of whatever they got themselves into, which sometimes isn't hardly anything. It's nothing much, but they make it seem like it's a lot, and they scare them. They put the fear of God in them. And then they turn into these informants, and these informants never get out. I don't care what they say. Oh, yep, everybody's saying that you get, twice your card, you punch it those 2 times and then you're free, whatever. No, I don't think that's true. I'm not saying that he doesn't know. I'm just saying in my eyes that's not true, because once an informant, always an informant. And whether and say it is true. Say you got those 2 punches that you've already narked on someone twice, right? So you're free and clear, but you're not free and clear with the ones you narked on. So you're always under the radar. I mean, you're always in their radar. Always. You're always going to have to watch your back once you've been an informant, period. And you know what they do? You know how they move their stuff? These guys in this particular story, or true story, is they used the pledges. That's what they called them. They used the pledges to move their stuff. You know how they moved them? They would empty out chip bags, popcorn bags, Skittle bags, and they would seal them up with a seal-a-meal. They'd put something in them that made it sound like chips or whatever, or Skittles, and they would hide the stuff in there. And that's how they moved them. When they busted this place, this is unfathomable, but this is what they busted. This is what they found. They found 4 million bars of Xanax. It came out of China, is where they got it. They called those sidecars. That bar is what they call a sidecar. That it goes with anything. It goes with the Mary Jane. It goes with the cane, because it's an up and then you get a down. It goes with the M. It bumps up the fit, whatever it does. They call it a sidecar. Also, take one of those and you drink a few of the, I don't remember what they said, like 4 something or others. I'm not sure what they meant by it, but maybe it was just beer. I just didn't understand, because I listened to it book form. So basically, I'm just going to say 4 beers, whatever, like maybe Tallies or whatever. Then you get to where you want to be at. But it also does other things. Now, this is what I've never seen one of these bars. I've seen like the little teeny tabs of the X, but never like the bar ones. Never seen those. And this is a true story. I was in another state just recently for a while, to get away from my mom. Long story. But while I was there, I had neighbors all around me, and I make hummingbird feeders and hummingbird swings and things like that. And one of the neighbors wanted to buy one from me. And so she had requested one, and I made it, and I had gone to her house a few times, and she wasn't there. Well, finally she answered the door, and she says, "I'm really sorry." She says, I've been dealing with my son. And I'm like, what happened? And she told me this whole story where he was coming back from somewhere, but he was riding the train, and they had gone out drinking heavily the night before. I don't know if he was in college. I'm not sure how that all. I'm not sure what his story was prior to that. Just that he'd been out partying with his friends, right? And then he was hungover, and he just felt like shit. So his friend said, "Here, take this. You'll be fine if you take this. You'll sleep the whole way, and you don't have to worry about it." He gave him a bar. Now I don't know. I hear that they're sectioned out, so you break it in tabs. So you take, I don't know if they're like 10 milligrams. I know that the ones I've seen that I've had prescribed to me, and mind you, my doctor, when they prescribed this, they don't prescribe them anymore. This is when I was going through the stuff with my mom. But when they prescribed it, they prescribed me 4, like 1.01, 0.01 or whatever, I don't remember, but the lowest you could get. And when I had those, I would break them in half and break the half in half, and a quarter of a one would make me better. I would feel better instantly. And I don't know how it works. I don't know, but I can see how people would get, certain people would get addicted to that kind of thing. Me, I never really thought about it until I was going through what I was going through, and then I was like, oh yeah, whew, thank God I have one of these left. A little chunk of it or whatever. That's all it took. But they only prescribed me 4 a month, and that was only for like 3 months, I think. Yeah. So where they're getting these and how they're moving these things is so dangerous, man. And a bar? I mean, you think about me taking one, even if it was just a 1 milligram, and you take it, so it's like a 1/4 of a milligram, and these people are taking 10 milligrams. Holy, I have no idea what that would do to me. I'm sure I don't know what it would do to me. Wouldn't be good, that's for sure. But anyway, this is what happened with their son, is he took that bar, and he was gonzo. He didn't even know what happened. He ended up in the cop shop. It was a whole long story, but she was in the process of trying to figure out what to do because, in her mind, and maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, I don't know, was an innocent in this whole thing, except for popping this pill that somebody gave him, right? So, I don't know. Weird story. But it happens, right? Okay. Well, okay, here we go. This is one of those pictures where it's the picture in the picture. And this is Red Backpack Girl. Oh, hold on, I gotta open the door. It's hot as fuck in here. Much better. You might hear a dog bark, but... Okay, so I'm gonna make this bigger. Sorry, I just played with the microphone. It might have been some muffling noises there for a second. I got my phone laying on my leg so it doesn't slip. This is a high technology I use, you guys. Freaking the finest technology. So, I don't know who this guy is, except for maybe it's her dad. And I don't know who these people are, except for it's maybe the mom, the dad, and the girls, and some friends. On a very nice, expensive freaking boat. Wakeboarding, water skiing, or, whatever they do. Anyway. This is the picture in the picture. And this girl right here is Red Backpack Girl from the Grub Truck. Her name's Alyssa. She's got a sister that looks a lot like her. Sorry. And this girl in the back, in between the girl with the gray sweatshirt and the green blankie, in between, the redhead, that girl is the girl that she was with at the Grub Truck, the tall one. So there's the short one, there's the tall one right here. Now this tall one, she goes out with number 9. Cody. Or Colby, or whatever his name is. And then this girl, she went out with the other guy. Now, I don't know if they're still going out, but they were going out then. Miles. And there's lots of photographs of those two, all of them, taken on the balcony or the front porch steps of the house that had the, was it 1112? It was the one that had the ring cam, where they got the ring cam sound. The blue house with the steps in the front. Lots of photos of them taken there. This is them again. So red backpack girl is the one right in the middle between these two girls. And then she's the one peeking out from around the corner over the shoulder. This is someone that sent to me thinking that this girl looked like the red backpack girl, but I don't think it's the same girl. But she does look like, she does look a lot like her. But she also looks like, oh, she looks like, you know, she looks like, I used to be subscribed to her. But she hangs out with J-Rod Speaks, or J-Rod, the one, the kind of Latino looking guy. Oh, I can't remember her name, but she kind of looks like her. This is just, I think that might be Conrad going into the house, or Hunter the night of the noise complaint. I'm not sure why I have this photograph, except for, oh, maybe because of the people up in the window up here. You know, there's so much going on this night. It was unreal what was going on this night. But there's a lot to see in this one. Oh, it could be because of this guy too. Now, this is something that needs to be talked about, and I don't know if they ever will, but that ride-along guy, who was that ride-along guy at that noise complaint? He heard way, way too much. Those cops talked to him like, I mean, what if he was one of the, let me see, what day was this? This was 9/1. So the moms had already been arrested. And yeah, so they could have already snitched. And so that person that was riding along in here could have been someone just casing the house, but doing it in a legit fashion by being a ride along in a cop car. Do they vet these people? I'd like to know who that person was. And these are just things I've saved just for, you know, good old Bill. I saved these so that I can make them into these. I put his face on here. It's so much fun. I love doing this part. Yeah. Because this is what this is the epitome of Bill to me. Just a big freaking baby. Just, you know, gets angry for no reason, throws tantrums. It's all about me. Yeah. It's all about me. And, you know, this is him in a nutshell. He wants his way. This is pretty cool. These are the signs, the secret hand signs of the fraternities. And what's crazy, or is this sororities? Let me see which one it is. These are sororities. Now, what's nuts to me is that some of these signs are the signs of white supremacy, I think. Like these got these okay signs up here. There's something about these that are said to be like, you know, I don't know, connected to that type of thing. And I don't know. I've never delved in that kind of stuff because that kind of stuff scares the crap out of me. And because I'm nothing like that. So, And of course, this one just for reasons that we all know, just, you know, to pop into a picture or whatever. This one is one of the frat houses. I'm not sure where this one is or why I saved it, but I saved it for a reason. And I do, I work with copper, and glass beads, precious gems. I paint. I do all sorts of stuff. And so I make trees of life, pendants and things like that. I mean, I make all different types of stuff. I mean, put it this way. If someone were to come to me and they wanted something made and they just were explaining to me how they wanted it done, I pretty much try to make it and to the best of my ability. And I've pretty much done it. I mean, I actually, I don't think there's anybody that's really been unhappy with what I've made them. But anyway, so these are probably just things I've saved just for creating a tree of life in a certain way. I like this one because all the butterflies on it. When my best friend passed away, she reminds me of, I mean, every time I see a butterfly, that's my best friend. Yeah. She left this world at such a young age. 40. Yep. So this is called alcohol ink. Now this, it looks like watercolor. This one might be watercolor. No, this is alcohol ink. Alcohol ink, if you guys love to paint, you don't feel like you're very good at it, because that's how I started. I didn't paint. Holy crap, I didn't paint at all. I mean, I painted like dressers and shit, but nothing like that. Did stencil type work, but I got alcohol inks, man. Oh, what a game changer. So alcohol ink, so what you have watercolors, grade school use watercolors. Well, so do adults. But so water to watercolors is like what alcohol, like rubbing alcohol, but it's 99% alcohol to these paints. And it's a magnificent. You guys just have to look it up on YouTube. It's so much fun. It's another yin yang tree of life. Love this one. Post woke. This reminds me of her. This right here, you guys, is Linda Lane. So this particular image is, okay, when you're looking at Linda Lane at the dumpster, and then off to your right, there's those 3 cars in that part, in that cul-de-sac right there that you can see, like the lights are kind of shining in there. They all look like they're black SUVs, is what they look like to me. Well, this one is the one that's closest to the Linda Lane, to the Queen side. So it's the one all the way to the right of the picture. And look at all this in there. These look like people with hoods on, with lights, some kind of type of light. Some of them look like they might have headlamps. Some of them are dimmer. Some of them might have like mouth glow sticks. I don't know. But that's pretty scary. And that particular car in that photograph, in that, just the image the whole time looks weird. There's something about that vehicle that's weird. And periodically when you're watching that, you'll see a light flash inside there. So it looks like there's someone sitting in that vehicle the whole time. Oh, this one was just the election. This one had to do with, okay, late Campbell, his dad, Joe Campbell. Cindy, why can't I think of her name all of a sudden? I say it all the time. Hart. Oh my God, why can't I think of her name? Barnhart. God, that was weird. So he ran for council, and this was the vote he got. This is late Campbell's dad. Cindy Barnhart's married to this guy, Joe Campbell, and Cindy Barnhart she runs Elite cheerleading, where Emma and Cindy's daughter, Aiden. Hi, hold on just a second. Okay, so I don't remember what I was saying. So both Emma and Aiden basically grew up as like best friends. They had a little group together, and so I don't know. They lived right there in the same like area, right down from. I mean, kind of like a triangular to the Moyers, to the King House, to where Bailey's grew up, and then so I'm not exactly sure where Barnhart's lived at that time, but she's worked for the university forever, so they were obviously right there. She says it's a 2-minute walk to get to the university where she works. So there you go. And the cheerleading thing. So it's cheerleading, dance, all that kind of thing. So it was kind of funny. And whenever I look back at that DWI that Emma, when she was saying that she doesn't have very good balance. Oh, that is bull crap, because she's definitely got good balance with dancing and with cheerleading. She's also a wrestler. I don't know if you guys know that, but she took girl wrestling. She wrestled Saeed. Do you guys know that? There's also a photograph that is mind-boggling that I have not posted yet. And it's when they were in middle school, and Emma's wrestling. And I swear to God, there's one guy sitting on the bottom, right on the floor, the bleachers right there, and it looks like green. And it's only him. I mean, there's people scattered around, but he's the only one in that front row sitting there watching so intently, watching Emma wrestle. That is creepy. Oh, this is... Okay, so this one's sideways in my phone, so reading this is going to be just a pain in the butt. Let me make it bigger in my eyes so I can see what it says. Oh, so this must be a Josco one. Okay, so you guys remember Josco 1972, I think is what it was. I quite frankly think that is GAC. Their voices sound very similar. I don't know. I just have that weird feeling. I don't know why. So, in that video where he makes that video, these are some of the things that he says, that Josco says. And Josco's a guy that's making the videos where you only see his reflection in the laptop screen monitor type thing. And so you don't really exactly see who he is. A lot of people say he's, what do they call it? Who they say he is? Joseph Scott or something like that. Well, what I realized in one of my comment sections when GAC was commenting and saying some pretty, talking with other people, his buddies, in my comment section, back and forth, triangulating is what they were doing. Being narcissistic towards me is what they were doing. And what I saw, what his username was. And it had been told to me earlier what his username was from somebody else. They had told me about it, but I had totally forgotten. I mean, first of all, I don't look for those things. If they pop up, this one definitely popped up because it was like, I never heard anybody talk to me like this in my comments before. They were doxing me is what they were doing. And they were vocalizing it in the comments. Yeah. Anyway, so his first part of his username is Jose, Jose. And that just makes me think of Josco. So, plus the voice sounds a lot like it. So I have it on, and plus this is one of the videos. This is word for word what was said in one of those videos. I have it on good authority. Cousin is a cop in blank whatever, but called in to help in Moscow once school started back up. Apparently, the investigation is looking directly at the Sigma Chi party Ethan and Xana attended from 8 to 9 that night. He did not have any update on their timeline after they left between 9 and 1:45, but did say it looks like the investigation is honing in on 2 suspects from the party that night, and an update should publicly name them by the end of the week. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to say right now, you think of all the time that was put into the Sigma Chi thing here, this 4chan, Fratanon, 4chan, Fran Atlantis, or whatever it's called, all sorts of ones. And you wonder how they get to all of this, right? What's their motive? And who did this? Who did it? So Sigma has made their socials private and removed all info from Facebook going back a few years. Now that is true. That is true, and that's what's interesting about now is because, well, now I'm talking like, it started about really started about 6-7 months ago, where they started filtering back in, unprivacy, taking the privacy off of the photos and stuff from way back when. Some of it's definitely deleted, but for the most part, they're trickling in, and so you get to see those things. Which is why, Backpack Girl pops up. I'm sure they hid the fact that those two were dating, that those two couples were dating, and who they were, which made all of us, the speculation and theories on that totally. I mean, there's two other people I thought those were until I realized exactly who those people were because of the trickling coming back in. Now their Facebook, they literally took that stuff down. I mean, so why, if there wasn't something nefarious in there or something that was just so criminal, in my opinion, they didn't want you to see, or that you were going to connect with criminal, why would they take something like that down? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, going back from a few years, yep. They believe Ethan and Xana were the main targets stemming from an argument that night. Downstairs survivors could hear two males rummaging through the room above them. Figured it was an after party, locked the doors, and went to bed. Okay, so where Bethany's room was, the room above Bethany was what's said to be the room below the stairs, where Dylan allegedly poked her head out of where she was allegedly at from the very beginning, that was her room. Well, that's also the room, when you're looking at that noise complaint, that at night, or the other one also, where Rosendahl walked up and these guys were standing down below with backpacks on, and there was a guy handing shit out the window. I mean, come on, they got some type of shipment that came in, and they were doling it out, divvying it out. Whoever got this, whoever got that, they were divvying it out, and they were hauling it off in backpacks to their prospective buyers or already purchased product and ready to take it to where it belonged. And then one at night, that was the room that looked like it had it was the party room. It was like the designated, I don't know, den, I guess you want to call it. I don't know what happened in that room. I just know that room below the steps definitely feels like it was allotted for something other than sleeping and keeping your clothes and your makeup and all that kind of stuff. So that would be the room that would be they would be rummaging through above them. That would be that very room where somebody, whether it was Dylan or whether it was the people, trying to get this narrative across to us and make us believe it, telling us this is what happened, or she poked her head out and blah, 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 blah. Don't know who said that. None of us knows that, except for them. Sorry, just had a sneeze attack. Yeah, none of us knows this but for them, except for them. So figured it was an after party, locked the doors, and went to bed. So Dylan could have been on the second floor if that was the case, because she would have been downstairs if they went to bed, locked the doors and went to bed. Well, locked the doors. Did that say locked the door? Locked the doors. So that would suggest that she was in the other room downstairs, Dylan. Well, I don't think that's the case. I think Dylan and Bethany were in the same room downstairs, underneath the room on the second floor where allegedly Bethany or Dylan stuck her head out and peeked 3 times. I don't think they even went on the second or third floor that night or morning. When they discovered them in the morning, about 30 minutes before the 911 call, 30 minutes before, mind you, they called their friends at Sigma to come over, who in turn called the police. It's right across the street And for whatever reason, they believe it was people from Sigma upstairs around 2:15 that night. Now, mind you, this says 2:15. So this is right after Kelley and Madison got dropped off from being out at night, that morning. Not the time the cops are telling us the second time around. And when they're talking about calling their friends from Sigma Chi, well, Hunter wasn't from Sigma Chi. Hunter, his brother was, but not Hunter Johnson. And allegedly, he was the first person that came over and took his pulse. Well, unless there was some indication that someone was still alive in there, from what it sounds like, there was no way anybody would be alive. No way. I mean, I've been around, I've seen people that have been deceased, and you definitely know when someone's not alive. I never saw them with a bunch of crimson around them either. So that is a whole nother... Taking someone's pulse, and I'm not saying Hunter said that himself. It could be just put in their mouths, just like I feel like the Dylan one was. Or, I don't know. It's so crazy. So, back door was left open. One dead in bed. The other blocking their room's door with their body. So that would mean, is what I'm thinking would be Ethan. God, rest in peace, you guys. Deep breath. Police just updated their Facebook to reiterate they are not looking into the activities of that night, only the murders, which to me suggests something went on. I agree. Fights, rugs, etc., and spilled into anger later that night and got them unalived. Well, I don't think that's all, but I think that is part of it. I believe there was a whole... I mean, I don't believe that they're innocent over there. I think and the sororities, I don't believe they're innocent either. I believe they all had a part in this. Now, whether they were the ones that got the crimson on their hands, I don't know. But I believe they all had a part in it, whether they're the eyes, the ears, whatever. They played a part. Also, didn't want to release profile they created as it would cause undue fear in the community, i.e. the Greek life. True. More coming shortly. So, I agree with that too. Is that I think they already knew. Then or within hours after. Because of just the way that the presser went, just the way it was all laid out. Well, first of all, let's talk about this. The 911 call came in at 11:56 a.m. At 12 noon, 4 were pronounced deceased. You've got the cop shop, which is if you literally race out the door, jump in a car, you're not warming it up, you're not doing nothing. It's cold out there. You're going to warm that car up. And it's an unconscious person, you're not going to think, it's any, it's not going to be of that much important. I mean, it's going to be important, yes, but not like hearing there's 4 deceased people in a house, So you've got this cop that, interestingly enough, I wonder if this is still out there, but there was an article that talks about this cop talking about his how this happened. And he, used to do the beat, he used to patrol the streets, but he was just sitting behind the desk. He was like, almost the holiday, Thanksgiving, season, in a couple weeks, they're going to have turkey. Kids were going off on their whatever. He was just kind of casually just there. And he gets a call and he thought, well, why not? Why not? I haven't had anything, interesting go on. I'll just go ahead and take this call. What? That was a story that was out there. No lie. I remember reading that and thinking, what is this? Because it was before we knew anything, right? But it was just weird. The way that, it was just weird. It was like they were setting this narrative. Like it was like just another day in Moscow. So 2 minutes. Let's say he busts his butt to get there. He gets there in 2 minutes. He's jumping out of the car within 2 minutes. He's still got students that are now there surrounding that outside of the house. He if the call came in at 11:56, how quickly does EMS get there? Also, because it says that they also were there. Yet it says they never entered. Well, a police officer is not the one to decide if someone is deceased or not. That's not something that is legit. So for them to say that there was at Dune, when he got there at 11:58, let's say if he was busting his butt, 11:58, he's got 2 minutes to figure out what's going on around, to dissect this in his head, absorb this, whatever, figure out what's going on, get into the house, go from the first floor, which he should have cleared, like literally going into a house like that. First of all, he should have protected the grid with the kids outside, because what was heard, from what they said, it was somber outside. There was kids standing around outside, students, and there was the whispering amongst them, and the only thing that was heard was the word muttered, dead. Okay. So if that's the case, and you're a police officer and you're trained to go into a home that people are saying there's dead people in there, you need to clear the floors. You go in on the bottom floor, you need to clear that first floor before you go to the second floor. And then the second floor before you go to the third floor. But on the second floor, you've got deceased bodies. And then you've got another floor to work up to, and bedrooms, all the bedrooms to open up to clear the bedrooms, to clear of any perp if there's anybody in there. And that took only 2 minutes? Nah. They knew this scene. In my opinion, they were well aware of what was on that house, what was going on in that house, what had happened in that house. They were a little too, they didn't allot enough time, give the time enough in between these things to make it real, to make it look like they're telling the truth. Because there's no way. A 911 call came in at 11:56. The cop comes up from Southview, 150 Southview, up the hill, up around Indian Hills Drive, mind you, up past Bill's house, around this hill, that hill, to get where? To Walenta, from Indian Hills, down around, and then to King, and then take a left on Queen, and then pull into the driveway, which was going to be on your right-hand side, just before the Queen apartment buildings. So, with that many students there, did they all walk from said places that they were called, where they were at that time? Were there a bunch of cars already parked there? Like, how did, what did it look like prior to that? That cop, arriving on scene. There's a photo out there that shows a cop, what it looks like to me, and I cannot see anything else. This is what I see in this picture. Doesn't look like garbage bags in this road where a cop's standing next to. It looks like a cop standing over a group of maybe 8, 9 young adult kids, adults, whatever, sitting on the pavement, and they look like they're wrapped in blankets or towels or something. Right out in front of the King house, like on the road, but on like the opposite side of the road. So like on the side that was closest to where the little walkway is down between the Taylor apartments from off of Queen Road. That's where they look like they were sitting. Now, I can understand it's cold outside. They've got blankets, and maybe that people, when people go into shock, they need to stay. They put blankets over them, keep them warm. Body goes into shock, all the organs shut down. The least used ones first, and then just as it goes down, depending on your body, reacts to the situation. You're going to need that extra layer of warmth. Protection. So is that what that was for, or was that because these people didn't have clothes on because they were in cleaning the house, and their clothes that were covered in the stuff they were cleaning up were bagged and in the trash? I don't know. Just something I'm thinking about. Think about this. Every one of those kids sitting down there, every one of those kids at that house when the cop arrived. And there was a half hour, let's say, in between when the 911 was called to when the cops got there, to when the kids would have showed up, mulling around. You don't think neighbors would have seen something and been out there? And you think about every one of those neighbors in that area, which is a very condensed area with lots of apartments and duplexes and houses with all these different rooms that the kids would stay. You don't think every single one of those kids had a phone or two, a phone and a tablet or whatever? You don't think, like every other video you see on the web, that they're whipping their freaking phones out? Half the time, they're not even helping the person that's being beat up or whatever's going on. They're just their thing to do is to take a photograph, to take a video. That's what this day and age is now. Oh, we better videotape this because, we want to be like our 15 minutes of, fame or whatever. I don't know. But every one of those person's bodies that were there had a phone or two or another piece of technology equipment, whatever, that would video or take pictures. Where are those? Where are those pictures? Where are those videos? So you've got the cop there now. He arrives at 11:58. He's got to maneuver around the kids in the road, sitting in the road, if that's indeed where they were, or if that was after, don't know. Listen to what this group of people are saying underneath their breath. Determine, should walk the grid, should be visually taking in everything in your surrounding, everything, left, right, behind you, front of you. The door, if it was open, the whole works. How many cars are in the parking lot? Everything should be going on in this person's head before they even enter that home where it was said to have the door that was open. Now later, at a parade or something or other, that Sean Cohen reporter guy from New York in the Daily Mail, he was talking to a retired officer or chief or something like that down at this parade, and they were by Chief Fry was down there as well, and they were talking about the door being open, and Chief Fry said he doesn't know where that came from. He doesn't know anything one way or the other was on this recording. Yet everybody claims this door was open. So how come Fry doesn't know about it? Well, for one thing, they said that Fry and Payne didn't get there for another 4 hours after this happened, when it was called, the 911 call. Another 4 hours. Well, where were those two? I mean, are they good buddies? Do they go hunting together? Probably not. I can't see that. So where were they? And when does Brett Payne become the lead detective in a quadruple homicide? See, dog agrees with me. When he's only been there maybe 3 years. I'm going to give him that. When there's seasoned officers who have been there for 15, 20 years. How did he get to be lead detective? Was it a punishment? Because he knew it was happening and he was there? And it was like, you did it. You were there. You're well aware. You're taking it on this one. Good luck. Was that why? Or was it because he's just so good at what he does that he's all of a sudden this massive, trained, well-educated, seasoned, been there, done that many, many times over. Pff. Detective, police officer. Nah. No. You would think that you would want someone who was a lead detective to have been there from the get-go. Like maybe the first on scene or the second or the third. From what it looked like, the whole cop shop was there. As well as the prosecuting attorney, Bill Thompson, who was wearing, mind you, a onesie, a Dickie onesie. Yeah, he was. It wasn't that solid dark blue colored one. It was more the lighter color with the white stripes, a really baby pinstripe, thin pinstripes. That's the one Bill was wearing. I wonder if he got his at Walmart. If he's got a receipt for that. As to when he got that thing. I'd be curious. And is that normal for I don't know. I've read in comments, which I really appreciate this, by the way. Comments where people are saying that I'm not much on the paperwork side or the court type stuff, but I'm more like the street type, trying to find that stuff out. And that's true. That's very true. I mean, when I see a court document that really bothers me, I'll bring it up. But the other people are more that I don't really understand that stuff too well, and I definitely can't explain it in my own words. I just have everybody confused because I'm already confused in my head about that stuff. So it's like when they say they were released without prejudice. Well, that makes no sense to me, because released without prejudice, in my mind, seems like it would be, then they're good to go. There's nothing against them. They are free to go. It's not going to follow them, blah, blah, blah. Well, that is not what that means. If that's the case on that one, that's released with prejudice. Released without prejudice means that if that person gets into any more trouble that is somewhat connected to what this particular arrest or whatever this was for, that charge can be brought back up into the system, and they can be tried on that or use it as evidence, whatever. That's without prejudice. Released without prejudice, that's what that means. So they're not free, and they're not free and clear. And to me, that makes no sense. It should be, it just doesn't. And so try to get me on that paperwork. Yeah, you don't want to do that. So who mentioned that in the comment section, I thank you for that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you knowing me well enough to know that is who I am. I don't hide who I am at all. I just sit here and talk. And what comes out of my mouth, rarely do I edit it on my CapCut. I will edit it, like if the dog's barking or I had, spill something. I'm like, sometimes I don't even edit when I do that. But there's certain things like, you don't want to hear, I don't know. Maybe my stomach growls. I don't know. Maybe I'll edit that out. But I know damn straight there's some of those in those videos too. So pretty much human life, right? Human nature. So yeah. So I definitely appreciate whoever said that, knowing me well enough to get me that way. I like that. That's cool. Okay, well, this video now with my other part attached is well over an hour. So I'm going to have to go dive back into this, and I will start at this photograph. But back to kind of close this out, you've got 4 minutes from the time the 911 call allegedly came in, because we never heard the 911 call, right? We don't know if that even exists. We don't know what that thing sounds like, how many people. They're saying the phone was passed back and forth to all these people that were there, these students that were outside and inside, because it was from inside the house this was called, on what they're saying was a roommate's phone. Dylan or Bethany's, I don't know. Maybe it was Azana's phone, maybe it was Ethan's phone. They don't say what roommate it was. They don't tell us that. It could be any of the roommates. We don't know whose phone that was. Now they're saying that Hunter was the one that they eventually talked to, where they got whatever story they needed to get to figure it out in their head. I don't know, but when you got 4 minutes, cops aren't the ones that diagnose if someone is deceased or not. That is a coroner. It can be a doctor. It can be an EMT, I believe. But the EMTs were said not to have been allowed to go in there. So how did they confirm that 4 people were deceased by noon? 4 minutes after that alleged 911 call. Oh, good Lord. Hold on. So, I just yelled out the door.